In this video, I want to have a serious talk about menus and accessibility. Hi everyone, it's Carrie from Live Accessible. Today I wanted to share something that has happened to me a lot and I'm sure has happened to many of you too. During Halloween, I was watching videos from other channels like Fashionista and How Casey Sees It and JC5 Productions, and they were using the Inaccessibility Horror Stories hashtag, and if you haven't seen their videos, they are awesome, and so I will leave their links in the YouTube card above and in the description below, so when you have a chance, definitely check them out. They are all really awesome. But they all brought up really good points about menus not being accessible a lot of the time. However, I wanted to focus today on how we can change that. So here's the current situation. When somebody with a visual impairment walks into a restaurant and they don't have a braille or large print menu, or their menu isn't online or isn't updated, it's really frustrating. And what's even worse is when they have the menu on the wall. A little while ago, Pablo and I were at a restaurant like this. Their menu was behind the counter near the ceiling with these really awful bright lights shining on them, which I guess was to help people read it, but just made life so much harder. When there is a menu on the wall, I take out my phone and take a picture so I can zoom in and read what's on the menu. But this has its drawbacks. First, there's that awkward feeling that you get when you're holding up your phone and trying to get a good picture. And I don't know about you, but I might not be able to see people staring, but I sure can feel them. And all those lights creates a lot of glare, which doesn't make for very good pictures, and all that awkwardness kind of made me feel like I had to hurry up and finish. So I ended up with blurry pictures, and then I had to take them all again. Finally, Pablo and I stood in a corner while I read the menu for both of us, and I still felt those eyes, but we got through it and we were finally able to order. Have you had a similar experience? Or maybe you've just gone ahead and ordered something that you knew was on the menu just to avoid it? Or maybe you asked the person behind the counter, what's the most popular items on the menu? Or maybe you were with somebody sighted and you just asked them to read it. I've done all those things myself. But why? Why do we need to do those things to ourselves? What's the answer? We don't. We need to change our mindset. We can't just think that NFB or AFB or some other organization needs to do something. They already do so much and they've got their hands full. If we want change, we need to change our reactions. And I'm talking to myself too, because I find myself thinking the same way. Instead of taking those pictures, I should have asked the employee what's on the menu. If they don't have it accessible, ask them to read it. Don't be afraid to have them spend that time to read the menu, the whole menu. Are other people online? Well, you have just as much right as they do to know what's on the menu. You don't want to be a burden to the employee? Well, this is their job. They're being paid to do this. It's not their fault, so I'd encourage you to be nice about it, but fight that pressure that stops you from asking questions or for more details. You don't want to get the employee in trouble? You won't get anybody in trouble. You have what the business wants, your money, so you have the right to know your choices before paying. You don't want the other customers in line to complain? Well, this is exactly when you need to ask, why? Why don't you have it accessible? Why don't you have it in braille or large print or online? This is the time you can ask them to talk to their managers or business owners to make those changes. We can be nice about it, but it's when we ask that we can make a difference. Don't wait for someone else to advocate. Again, Don't be afraid to ask. You've got to ask. Not only for yourself, but for every other visually impaired person out there. If more people were to ask for an accessible menu, it could make an impact. If the menu is on the wall, a temporary solution could be that they have a printed copy that somebody could bring close to them and have KNFB Reader or Seeing AI or Envision AI read it to them, or use a magnifier to read it. They can do this while they work on getting something more accessible. If more people ask, businesses will see it as a need and an opportunity to get more money and more customers. There are more than 300 million people with a visual impairment in the world. That's a lot. And if each one of us were to ask these questions and make these suggestions, it could really make a difference. So I challenge us, including myself, to break that fear and advocate. Don't fall into that trap of thinking that one person can't do anything or make a difference. It's when each one of us advocates and we all work together that it will change. That's it for this one. Thanks for watching, everyone.